Good evening, I'm Russell Stover, and today I'll be talking about the Electoral College, some benefits and cons against it, and then the proportional representation system and why I think we should move toward it. So in the United States, everybody votes on the general election in November. During this general election, your vote for president doesn't matter. And I think we could change that. There's an easy way to change that, and that'd be simply by changing our system of voting for president. So first I'm going to speak on the Electoral College, the pros and cons, and how it works. So the Electoral College works, it starts before the election. The political party, so either Democrats or Republicans, because they're the ones in power, they choose electors at the conventions. They're voted on then. Then, in November, you're not voting directly for the president, you're voting for those electors, who are not bound by law to vote for that president. Electors are given to each state based on population. That population is taken during the census every 10 years. This is all what's written into the Constitution. Each state is given a minimum of 3 electors and then given the other 388 after that, which adds up to 538 electors. For somebody to win the presidential election, they need to win 270 electors. The electors don't vote until the second Wednesday in December. On this Wednesday, they are not forced to vote for who the state wanted them to. That state, most states go underneath the winner-take-all system, which improportionally represents that state's population. So for example, California has 55 electoral votes. In California, the majority of the population vote Democrat for the Democratic nominee more often than not. 30% votes for the Republican nominee. This means that 30% of people within California are not represented fairly. This happens in all states. States like Texas, where the Democrats are not represented fairly. This happens in other states like Alaska, where again the Democrats aren't represented fairly. In other states like swing states, this is where the real presidential campaigns happen because they cannot count on either side. They go both ways. So this creates kind of a broken system for the presidential election, an election where your vote doesn't matter, especially if you're in the bigger states. So here's why. Because of the population, Ohio should have 20 electoral votes. They actually receive 18. California, because of their population as the largest state, should get 65 electoral votes, but they only get 55. Hawaii, being one of the smaller states, should only receive 2 electoral votes, but they get 4 because they get the 3 minimum and then given 1 after the census is done. This means states like Alaska, Rhode Island, Delaware, the District of Columbia, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, all those states, they get more electors than they normally would because of that system. Well, this allows states like those smaller states to be represented in this election because it forces the federal government to recognize them for their power. But what this does is it makes the election less fair. And the winner-take-all system means that these states that vote more often right than left, or more often left than right, they break the election, meaning the election only comes down to several states and several counties where they only matter. So, for example, here in Kentucky, your vote's going to go right. Doesn't matter how you vote or what you think about the candidate, that state's going to go that way. So underneath the proportional representation system, this allows each state, each county to be represented differently. So if you're one of that 30% in California and you wanted Donald Trump to be president and you voted for him, that vote would go to him. If you are in states like Florida where it's broken up, your states are going to who you want to vote. And then you have to get rid of the condition of faithless electors, where who you're voting for as the elector has to vote for who you voted for. The two-party system breaks this. We have to move past the system that our forefathers made. The difference between this and a direct democracy is this is something most people can swallow. A direct democracy has been fought against for centuries. A system of proportional representation has the best of both, where it follows closely what the popular vote is, but also follows closely what the Electoral College does. It meets in the middle. It allows you to be represented, it allows your state to be represented, it allows states to be important, campaigns to happen everywhere. We cannot let the system be broken, and we have to let your vote count. In conclusion, the Electoral College is broken, and a system of proportional representation would fix this. Most Americans would agree with this. Most Americans like the system that we have, and they agree that it's the same system that our fathers made. It's the same Electoral College. You're still using that system, but we're fixing it. We're unbreaking it. Let your vote count.